It's the video that's happening because today was not the day that I planned. I want to start off by saying that Tessie is fine. We're figuring out what's going on with Tessie because she's just hasn't been herself for a while. I'm not worried that anything big is going on with her. It's just that ever since she had her ear infection close to a month ago, she just has not been herself and her stomach has been really upset. She just has hardly been eating. So we've been concerned, and they've been concerned at her school, and all her therapists have been concerned because she just is super lethargic. She's sleeping constantly. When she comes home, she just goes right to sleep. She refuses to eat just about anything. She'll eat like a handful of cereal and that's all she thinks she needs. And then she just curls up and goes to sleep. And when I wake her up 14 hours later, she is still exhausted, struggling to go back to sleep. And in addition to that, she's just been super clingy, super cryy. I mean, this is not Tessie. Tessie's my easy, happy-go-lucky baby. She always wants to go to school. She always wants to learn. She always wants to play with me. And she's not this baby that comes home and lays down on the couch and just lays there and doesn't want to do anything because obviously she's not feeling well. And there's been some other things that indicated she was having some stomach problems. I took her to her doctor 2 weeks ago and he ran some tests. At that point, I wasn't thinking that the stomach things were too big a deal. It was really how lethargic she was that was my main concern. We do think that she might be lactose intolerant or have some sort of a dairy allergy still, so I wasn't too worried about the stomach things we're seeing because sometimes we keep her away from milk and yogurt, but once in a while she'll have some other dairy things because usually it doesn't bother her that much. So when the stomach stuff first started, I thought maybe she had like ice cream at school. So I didn't think it was that big a deal because usually it doesn't really bother her that much as long as she doesn't have a glass of milk. She doesn't get that sick. A glass of milk will make her sick, so we don't let her have a glass of milk. In the beginning, I was really just worried about how lethargic she was, and so our doctor ran some blood tests. The blood tests showed some high white blood cells counts, some low white blood cell counts, but overall he thought it looked pretty normal and said to come back if she wasn't getting better. And so I waited a week and she went to school because he said she looked pretty healthy other than her being lethargic. She went back to school again, just was kind of the same all week, not really eating, really tired, sleeping a ton. And then on Thursday she got sick at school. She got so sick that she got sent home from school, and then she came home and was throwing up at home. And then on Thursday I tried to make an appointment in the afternoon and we couldn't get in, and so we went into the weekend just kind of hoping that it was going to get better on its own. Yesterday was okay in that it didn't really get any worse. It just kind of stayed the same as it had been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, more or less the same. Then today arrived, Sunday, and today was bad. She was just hysterically crying and screaming like she was in so much pain from the time she woke up in the morning. And that's not Tessie. I've never seen Tessie like that. Even when she's sick, even when she's hurt, she doesn't cry and scream like she's in pain. And it went on for like 3 hours and there was nothing that we could really do. It's obvious she wanted something from me. She was leading me back and forth and all over the place, but nothing I could do could really comfort her for more than a few seconds. I would get her to stop crying and then she would burst into tears again. Maggie even came over and Maggie sat down next to her and started cuddling her, and she stopped crying for about a minute with Maggie, which was pretty much the longest that she stopped crying. I took a couple pictures of them cuddled up together because it was so cute. And then she just started crying again. That was when I looked at Paul and was like, I think we need to take her somewhere. And that was when the discussion began, like, urgent care, where do we take her? And so then I called the doctor's office call line. I asked that the on-call doctor call us back, and it happened to be her doctor, which was like, yes, thank goodness. And so we started driving. We had promised to get the other kids donuts because it was Sunday, and I'm sick, and Patch is sick. Sadie seemed like she might be getting sick. We're still not really sure if she is or not. We promised to get the kids donuts, and just everybody kind of staying in the car was the plan at that point. And then we figured Tessie was either going to be going to urgent care or the ER, and we were going to leave it up to her doctor. So her doctor called back after we got the donuts and filled the car up with gas and heard what I had to say, the description of what was going on, and he said, yeah, you know what, it sounds like she needs to go to the ER. And so we took her to the ER, and the ER, Paul was like, it's the middle of the day, it's a Sunday, it looks like it's gonna be pretty slow. And we pull up and it's like solid cars across the front of it, and the pediatric ER was slammed. It was full of kids running around laughing. It looked like a playground, honestly. There were like 3 kids there that were like laying down seriously sick. And then everybody else was like wrestling and running around, knocking things over, destroying things. It was insanity in the waiting room. I've been there a bunch of times. Between 5 kids, we've been there not a bunch of times, but I've been there multiple times, and usually the waiting room is just silent. This was the first time I'd ever seen it like jam-packed. When I got there, the triage nurse told me that the wait time was at about 2 to 2.5 hours. Like, okay. So we sat down, and I had Tessie in a baby carrier, and she sat on my lap for about 2 to 2.5 hours until we got called back. And the main thing we were worried about at that point was just that we couldn't get her to drink anything. She not only had stopped eating, which she hasn't been eating hardly anything, but she hadn't been drinking either. And so they weighed her. She's lost 3 pounds since she first got sick. And I mean, that's a lot when you're like 35 pounds. She's down to 32 now. She started at 35. She's down to 32. We got a room, and they came in and talked about what their concerns were, what it might be. They were concerned about like things from her being on the antibiotics, that it could be. We saw a PA, we saw the nurse, and then a doctor came in, and he ultimately decided that what he wanted to do was give her Zofran and then try to get fluids in her, because he was really hoping to avoid having to start an IV on her and prick her with needles and get her really, really upset, because she was already pretty upset about being there to begin with. She was totally calm as long as no one else was in the room with her or no one was trying to touch her. But if anyone tried to touch her, she was pretty upset. They gave her the Zofran, and after they gave her the Zofran, she curled up in a little ball on the bed and fell asleep immediately. And they came in about half an hour later and had me wake her up, and they had apple juice and a Slurpee. And so I laid on the bed next to her, and she drank. She went back and forth between the apple juice and the blue slushy until about 40 sips into the blue slushy, she got her very first ice headache and like held on to me, curled up in a little ball for about half a minute, and after that she was not going to trust that thing ever again. So she drank the apple juice, and when the blue Slurpee was melted, she then drank it and trusted it, but not until there was no ice left in that thing. When she drank all of it, they decided that they were going to discharge her as long as I said that I would call her pediatrician and get her to her pediatrician tomorrow so that he could order the tests that they want ordered, so that we can figure out what is going on, because they're pretty sure now that she'd taken in enough fluids that she was good for tonight. Once she took the Zofran and then drank the apple juice and the Slurpee, she jumped down off the bed and she was running around, and it was like a totally different kid than had come in there. You having fun? You like this blue? You like the blue drink? Oh, but the apple juice is your favorite? And I mean, when we came in, she was like curled up on me and just sitting on my chest. And by the time we left, after she drank that and had the medicine, she was running around the room. She was just completely like herself for the first time in a long time. You're ready to go, aren't you? You are so ready to leave. She's rehydrated and ready to roll. Obviously, nausea was one of the things it seems like that was going on, which isn't really a surprise. Hopefully whatever's going on, she's feeling better soon. Hopefully this cough that the rest of us have is also gone soon. I actually feel like this year we've had a pretty easy year compared to last year, because last year we had Binkai like 25 times by now. I am ready for Tessie to be 100% and just like herself, because it is always hard when you have a little kid who can't really tell you what's going on. To me, that's always a little nerve-wracking. And I'm like covered in donut frosting because she didn't really eat her donut, because of course she didn't eat her donut. That was one of the things we were trying to get her to eat, so we got donuts. But she did manage to smear her hand in the frosting and get it all over me so that I could be decorated in frosting too. Oh, what a day. Anyways, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, it was bad because she was sick, but I'm just hoping she's going to be feeling better soon, and that even if we don't get answers, I just want her to feel better soon, because this has been one long stomach bug. I'm used to stomach bugs that are like, she gets them, any of us get them, and then they're, 24 hours, 48 hours, you feel better. Not a stomach bug that goes on for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. If you want to send up prayers for a healthy Tessie, we would really appreciate those. Anyways, that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.